He said one more thing. He said, if you are in a place where the virus has struck, and you don't leave, you remain, and you die, you go to heaven. No government can say that. The World Health Organization is miles and miles and miles away from even a sniffing of making a statement like that. No scholar, no university can say that. Only a prophet of the one God can speak like that. That if you die from the virus by staying, not running, you would be shaheed, you would be a martyr, you would enter into heaven. But did he say that you must shut down the market? Would Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, if he's in Islamabad today and there's a virus, there's an epidemic, and he says, don't leave, stay, would he shut down the market? Do you have any evidence? Would he say you can't go to work and earn your livelihood? You can't go and sell in the market to earn your roti? Would he say you can't go in the masjid to perform prayer? Would he do every single possible thing within the area of the epidemic to try to separate people from each other? Will you not think? No. Our Prophet never said that you should reorganize your life in an area where the epidemic is taking place so that you have something called social distancing. No. Life goes on in the area where the epidemic is taking place. Life goes on. If I am wrong, tell me what is right. So you have no right to disrupt the economy. You have no right to disrupt people's livelihood. Yes, you have the right to impose quarantine so that people from this area are not allowed to leave. And you can enforce that with the armed forces, with the police. And you can prevent people from entering. Yes, you have the right to do that. That's quarantine. You do not have the right to block the masjid. You do not have the right to stop people from going to the masjid to pray. You do not have the right. I'm not speaking only to Pakistan now. I'm speaking to people around the world who have been brainwashed to accept the authority of a government to suspend prayer, to stop people from going to the masjid. From where did the government get this authority? I don't see amongst the Muslims. I don't hear any voices challenging a government's authority. But yes, I see a Christian minister doing that. Yes, a Christian minister is doing that, but we are silent. Challenging the authority of a government to prevent people from going to the masjid to pray. Or worse than that, imposing upon us. Would the Prophet ﷺ allow you to do that? That you must stand up like monkeys in the masjid, like monkeys 3 feet apart? And as soon as you leave the masjid and you go outside, you forget the 3 feet apart? Would the Prophet, Allah's blessing be upon him, would he do that you are doing? On Judgment Day, you will have to answer for that. And we are warning you, because we reject that. We reject it. If we are not allowed to perform the salat as it ought to be performed, we suspend the salat. And when we suspend the salat, you will have to answer on Judgment Day for that salat that we have to suspend. This is my comment. If the Prophet ﷺ was alive, how would he act? Answer, if he was alive and you are in an area in which the virus takes place, he would say, don't leave. And if you're outside, he said, don't enter. And he says, if you are inside and you die while not trying to leave, you become a martyr and you enter into heaven. And we have so many sheep and cattle and goats and camels now who don't want to go to heaven. No, we want to get the vaccine. We don't want to die. We don't want to go to heaven. That's a pathetic state of people who don't think. I don't trust people who manufacture a virus and wage biological war, so I won't trust their vaccine. But I don't think that Russia will do such a thing, not Orthodox Christian Russia. So forget all that Jamaat about Putin this and Putin that and Assad this and Assad. Get lost. We trust Russia because Russia is returning to her Orthodox Christian heart. And the leaders of Russia today are the best leaders in the world. So tell that Jamaat, get lost. If I'm forced to take a vaccine, I'd take the Russian one. The Chinese one, Chinese are businessmen, but Russia is Christian. And the Western vaccine, I don't trust it. So if you want to take the vaccine, that's up to you. But I won't take it. I don't need it. Life and death are in Allah's hands. And it is Allah who will write when I will die, not a vaccine and not a virus. I have one more comment to make before I end. This is the longest statement I've made so far about the virus. But before I make that last statement, someone came to me here in Islamabad and he said to me, Sheikh, in my village there was a family who fell ill with the virus. And Sheikh, nobody wanted to go to help them. All the villagers shunned them. He said, my wife and I, we had to go. And we had to take care of them until they recovered. And we didn't fall ill. My response is, what a pathetic state of affairs, where people now in Pakistan have become so totally brainwashed that you would not go to your neighbor who has fallen ill. You're so scared of death. We are a people who are not afraid to die. And yet today they're all afraid to die. But Russia is not like that. Orthodox Christian Russia was not afraid to die. They were not afraid even of nuclear war when Putin entered into Syria to block the Zionists from taking over Syria through ISIS. Russia was not afraid to die, and we are afraid to die. What a pathetic state of affairs. But not those who have the Quran in their hearts, not that of Pakistan. The Pakistan which is faithful to the book of Allah would be a Pakistan which would not be afraid of death. Now I have one last comment to make, and I hope the Zionists are listening to me. And when you hear this comment, you can take it and put it in your pipe and smoke it. You know, Russian President Putin, he once said, he said, those who are preparing poison for us to drink will one day drink their own poison. Yes. He says, those who are preparing poison for us to drink will one day drink their own poison. There's much truth in that words. Much truth in those words, because that is what's going to happen with this virus. This virus has come from the Zionist laboratory. And this virus was created to try to facilitate Pax Judaica, to replace Pax Americana, so that Israel can become more easily the ruling state in the world without the obstruction of a hostile Arab population within Israel and around Israel. So using the virus as a biological weapon. But don't you know that Allah can also do it? Yes, I have to stop and laugh for a while. Have you forgotten that if you prepare poison for us to drink, that one day you can drink the same poison? Huh? Well, let me tell you what is the fate awaiting you. Our Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, described you as Gog and Magog. Yes. Because Gog and Magog are those who bring the Jews back to the Holy Land to reclaim it as their own. 2,000 years after Allah had expelled them and blocked their return. And guess what's the fate of Gog and Magog? Yes, there is one part of the fate in which they'll be checkmated in the north, and that's coming in the big war. Qarnayn, the first Qarn and the second Qarn, but that's not our subject. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that they will come down from the north and pass the Sea of Galilee on their way to Jerusalem. And by the time the last of them pass, before they're blocked, the last before they're blocked, they will say there used to be water here in the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee will be dry. So there'll be one part of Gog and Magog which will be blocked in the north, in the second Qarn of Qarnayn. But the rest of Gog and Magog will be down in the south, in Jerusalem, around Jerusalem. And when Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, when the true Messiah returns, when Jesus, the son of Mary, returns, and you attack him, and he goes up a mountain in Jerusalem, do you know what's going to happen then? Let me tell you. He will pray to the Lord God, and the Lord God will send a virus. Let me speak slowly so it'll sink in. And the virus will attack you at the back of your neck, at the top of the spine. And when you are attacked by this virus, you won't be sneezing. You won't get fever. You won't have cough. No, you will be paralyzed, totally paralyzed. But perhaps you can still move your eyes. Those who can think will recall these words of mine, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. I need to speak no more about that. You'll be totally paralyzed. That's the fate that's waiting you. The last few hours of your life will be lived imprisoned in your own body. And then by next morning you're dead. And when you're dead, your bodies will begin to decompose and smell. So you prepared the poison for others to drink, and in the end, you had to drink your own poison. Your biological war is going to backfire on you, and you will become the victims of that biological war. And that's all I have to say to you. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye to you.